Hello everyone, welcome to the Copperhead Amateur Series for Season 5, Race 4 at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, or Mosport, and the Menards 150. The driver's ready to take on the first road course race of the season, and they're going to get the track warmed up for the Pennzoil Pro Series. But for now, here's what qualifying looked like today as 65 entries took to the two duels to try to make the 10-car field that will move on to the main feature. Leading the first duel is Zach Komoski out front in that Ford Mustang. The Peak Ford has always been one to look out for. Hasn't been a true contender, but looks to be very quick here early on in the going, as he is leading the field around the track 6 laps in each duel to decide which 5 from each duel will move on. As we see them go down the back stretch, the field lightning fast. If you're deep in the field, it's going to be very tough to make up ground and move yourself into a competitive spot. But for drivers like Samantha Jones, you see here running in 5th place, the opportunity is very possible, as qualifying was very important. But just behind Rick Witt, one spot out, he's going to need to move inside the top 5 in order to secure himself a spot in the main feature later today. Rick Witt driving that number 80 Wheelie Chevrolet. It'll be one of his last races, as this is our 4th doubleheader of the season. A really big surprise is Josh Bullitt from Hurst Enterprises running in 3rd place and looking very strong, showing that the road courses may be where this team is able to excel at. Just behind Gerard Aron in the J. Barker Motorsports Chevy having a good run, and Hergio Arvin Alonso, the 2nd car on the outside, looking in, making his second career start, or second start of the season in the Copperhead Amateur Series in that Krispy Kreme Chevrolet. First time in that 6 car, we saw him in the 95 at Daytona. Just behind, further back in the field, 2 solid at runs so far. However, halfway through the duel, it'll be a long shot if these guys can get in. The 7 car of Jack Porkins, kind of surprised to see him hanging out back there. But as for Matt Dunn and Alan Holland in the 98 and 11 cars, having very solid runs, just outside the top 5 though. And as we look in the 2nd position here, the 42 car of Andrew Gorman, running very well so far. That 42 car has been one of the favorites for the non-full-timers to win the part-timers championship. So far he's made a race, but the other 3 have not gone to plan. Looking like he'll make it into the race this time though. But as for your leader, Zach Komoski will dominate the first duel, and he will take the 1st position and move on to the main feature. Following him is Josh Bullitt, Gerard Aron, and Samantha Jones. No movement inside the top 5. And the top 5 qualifiers will move on to join the 18 full-time drivers already locked into the main event. And as we follow the pace car, the 2nd duel is underway, as 34 cars this time, just 1 less from the first duel, will take on the track. Track's a little warmer, so there may be some grip, but it's still pretty fresh for these drivers out here. You see AJ Bain down pay road. This is not how he wanted to start his race. He's going to have electrical issues and will not compete in the 2nd duel. Aiden Milliken in the number 2 car, the CVS entry, looking very strong. He's competing for 3rd place with Gatlin Downey, and just behind them, Cesar Chavez in that Rogers Racing 88 car, looking very strong as well. And if we learned anything from the last duel, it's that the top 5 are in the prime real estate right now to make it on into the next duel. We see the cars rounding the final corners and coming to lap 2. And right now it's just a matter of showing off and trying to get as many spots as you can before the 6 laps are up. Very limited time actually to make moves, but it's still there, as this track is one of the longer tracks we go to, being it is a road course. And for Gatlin Downey, he is super excited for these road courses. In fact, super excited for the year. Can't wait to continue, and it looks like he may make it through this round if he is able to hold his 4th place spot. Further back, Colin Denton in the 64 just on the outside. Kind of surprising to see after he had such a great start early in the year, making 2 races in a row. Also making his first start back here though in the 16 car. Usually this car driven by Ryan Kendall, but this week it is driven by Henry Guo and the Wawa Dodge Charger. The number 95 and the 52, both big Hergio Motorsports cars. This team has made huge gains in the first 3 races that we've seen them in, and currently having also a solid run. Maybe not inside the top 5, but also showing a lot of speed here at the road courses. And we see Zach Rain. You can see the gap he has pulled on the rest of the field. He has incredibly dominated, even more so than Zach Komoski last duel. And just behind, it's a little bit more competitive though for second place. You see Aiden Milliken getting around Eric Willis. And just behind Gatlin Downey, these three look like they will also make it into the field. It's the 5th spot that's up in the air right now, and we'll have to see who that is coming to the line. But as for Zach Rain in the 61 car, not too many opportunities this year, but he will be able to make use of this one, getting the 1st spot. And Cesar Chavez is going to hold on to the 5th position and be the last car to lock himself in to the main event. And is going down the grid. A bunch of drivers are not going to be starting in the main race, and will have to go home early this afternoon. And that wraps up qualifying as we get ready to start the main event, the points-paying event. As 28 drivers, we saw the 10 that were locked in. Let's see the other 18 that are going to be in the race. Zach Komoski and Eric Willis, both dual racers, were able to qualify later and get the top spots. But with Tania Breyer, the first full-timer, will start in the 3rd position. Excellent qualifying start for that driver. And as we look down the field, the part-timers having a lot of success. Gatlin Downey, Aiden Milliken, Cesar Chavez also qualifying in the midfield. And all the way down at the bottom, Megan Johnson and Gerard Aron will have a lot of progress in order to make up spots in this 16-lap event. Here are your onboard cameras today. Zach Komoski, Scott Roush holding the roof cams, with John Art holding on to our visor cam just on the lower part of the screen there. But it will be exciting to see what happens as the Copperhead Amateur Series takes on their first road course race of the season. Their first time being at Mosport as well, actually. And for the drivers that were able to race in the qualifying races, that could give them an advantage. Green flag is in the air as the flag starter waves the green flag. Zach Komoski leads the field down through turn number 1. And just like in the duels, he wastes no time breaking away. And Eric Willis, though, not giving up too bad. He actually had a really good corner there. Does not look like he'll have the drive off to challenge Komoski, but he'll slip back in 2nd place. Tania Breyer and Isaac Nichols battling for 3rd spot. Nichols looking to secure that 3rd position, but Tania is still on the inside there. Rage Attack Racing looking very strong, with both of their drivers qualifying up inside the top 8. Also sitting inside the top 5 is the number 40 of Dylan Membrilla, looking to have a very good run. Some of the drivers lower in the point standings actually qualifying very high for a first road course race of the season. So this is their opportunity to turn their season around and start building up some points. I just saw Zach Komoski there with about a 6-car length lead already after that back stretch. And you see him, he has gapped the rest of the field already. It's worth mentioning for newer viewers, the road courses do not have caution flags. They only have partial course cautions, which you'll see indicated with a yellow and green striped flag at the top of the screen. And that means good for Komoski leading out in front of the race. Qualifying is forever important, as after the green flag waves, you've got what you got. There's no... Oh, and we have a caution. Speaking of our partial course caution, we have a car off at turn 3. That is Nicholas Wade in the 5 car riding on board. Oh, and he's just going to step off there, and you saw it from Scott Roush's onboard camera. Just got too deep into the corner there and was unable to control his car, and off into the tires he went. That's an early exit for the number 5 driver. And you know what? We mentioned drivers that needed to earn some points. Nicholas Wade coming into this race 12th in points, 73 behind John Arndt, your points leader. That's not what he wanted to see, as he's going to lose a lot of ground to him after this race. We saw Tania Breyer there. She's also looking for some points, coming in at 13th. Same thing with Patrick Curtis in 11th. All those drivers running inside the top 10, or at least Wade was. But for Patrick Curtis, he's also looking for a decent start. And right now he's got it. Seeing the front cars just out in front of him. And running 9th place right now. You see Arndt actually just in front of him there. This 21 car is going to get some points, but he's also going to have to get around the 81 car. That's your points leader coming into this race. He was able to dethrone Carter Friesen, who is on screen right now, who's slipped back to 2nd after last week. But Friesen's still very much in contention, only 4 points out. And as we've seen, anything can happen, as Wade's hopes went up in a tire barrier. And for Carter Friesen, he can maybe hope on some pit strategy or something in order to gain an advantage. A long way to go, as we are only a quarter of the way through this race. John Art, we already mentioned him being the points leader, but just a huge turnaround from the last 2 seasons he's been in. In fact, 2016 was just one of the worst seasons imaginable for him, driving in a couple different teams, just looking for any advantage possible. Then on his own driving experience, and really tried to get this 81 ride after it won the championship last year with Meritaj Rischel. Was able to get it, and supported by Zaxby's. Whoa, you see the 27 car go wide there. But just to finish my statement, John Art looking very strong and proving that he belongs in that 81 car. And Vinny Vies in the 27 car, Atlanta winner earlier this year, did not have a great run in at Bristol. That threw him all the way down to the 8th spot in points. And unfortunately for him, he is now 65 out from the bubble. Will need to make some significant points up today. Not really happening as he's running latter half of the field. Aiden Milliken actually kind of holding him up here. Really close on his back bumper there. Very aggressive by the 27 car. Maybe feeling the need to go early here in the race. Make up some ground. Watching Canada Corner here. The drivers fly through one of the best passing areas. You see Vinny Vies now making a move on the 2 car there. And a couple others. There's Castle Radcliffe going around Megan Johnson. Those 2 looking for better days. But at the front of the field again, Kamaski has not let anything go, and he has maintained that gap over second place. I believe that's Tanya Breyer, actually. We missed it, but Tanya Breyer has gotten around the 68 car of Eric Willis for that second spot. And Willis, it seems his car has fallen off very quickly here as he is being hounded by the full-timers of Dylan Membrilla and Isaac Nichols. Nichols has shown to be a threat so far this championship season. He is 7th in points, but he has had some decent runs. Nothing incredibly impressive, but he's been there in contention and once again running inside the top 5. As for Membrilla, it's been underperforming so far. He is last in points, 100 points out of the lead. This is exactly what he needs in order to get back into competition. And you see him taking the 4th spot. A win would be huge for this driver. And this was a 1-year contract for the 40 team. Membrilla would definitely like to turn things around earlier in the season rather than have to do it later. Here was our second dual winner from earlier in the day, Zach Rain in the 61 car. We mentioned not many more opportunities, only 2 more doubleheaders after this weekend, and then the Pennzoil Pro Series drivers will be unable to double dip in the series below. But for Rain, this is an opportunity to continue to show his talents. Not necessarily in the best equipment in the Pennzoil Pro Series anymore. Definitely has some good equipment down in this series. And hoping for some good runs. We see pit stops happening here as everyone's coming down pit road. Everyone except for one. And that's Carter Friesen. 2nd in points. And he will come in a lap later as we see here from the helicopter cam. And Friesen definitely rolling the dice here. He was able to make it around with enough fuel. And we'll have to see where this puts him out. I believe he came around somewhere in the 14th position area. We'll see where he ends up as the 38 car and the 18 still in the lead. But for Tanya Breyer, this is an incredible run. Breyer, 3 years of experience so far in the Copperhead Amateur Series, looking for a break. And right now having an excellent run at the road course. As for her teammate, though, Eric Willis, he has continued to free fall. Now in the clutches of James Richardson, who is looking very strong as well. And he'll have to hold on before this race is over. Scott Roush in the 37 car, 3rd in points, the other contender as of now, earlier in the season, for the championship. Not having one of the best runs, but still sitting in midfield. The worst out of the front 3, and is going to lose some more points to John Art at this rate. As for Scott Roush, he has definitely been one of the consistent drivers as well in the field, and that has allowed him to be 3rd in points. And for Roush, looking to just make it home. Maybe not the best at the road courses, but this driver is certainly impressing right now. Josh Bullitt, this may be way back in the field, but just making the race for a small team like Mattias Hurst Enterprises is a huge accomplishment, and Josh Bullitt has definitely shown his hand. And he's going to walk away with some points here today, no matter what the outcome. And Bullitt, this is a huge improvement for him. This is his 2nd year in the series, and one of the drivers looking for a full-time option next year. We'll have to see if maybe this improves his opportunities for getting a full-time ride in the next season. Another part-timer worth mentioning is Samantha Jones, always one of the ones to look out for in the part-time championship. Hasn't shown up yet this season, but finally was able to make a race here at Mosport and is running about mid-pack, so looking very strong. Fitzwater Australia Racing once again showing their talents at the road courses and flexing their muscle here with the 43 car. Almost has become the team in paint schemes synonymous with road course acuity, and Samantha Jones carrying on that legacy in the Copperhead Amateur Series. You see the 88 car, Cesar Chavez, giving her a run for her money though as well. Also having a great run. There's John Arndt off the track. Oh no, and top 5 runner John Arndt has slipped off the course with only 4 laps to go. And a disaster for your points leader. And this changes everything late in the game. I can't believe that. John Arndt had a great run going, was going to definitely increase his points standings position. What a disaster for that driver, and he must be kicking himself after that accident. Wow. But the race goes on, and for Carter Friesen, that's exactly what he wanted to see. And for Arndt, we don't reset points at all, so that could be what makes or breaks his championship. And looking out front, more drama at the front of the pack. Zach Komoski has lost ground to second place, and in fact, he's being challenged by Tanya Breyer. Down the long back stretch, Breyer has not let up, and this race has come to a tipping point. Breyer on the inside, she's got it. And to the lead, Tanya Breyer. Zach Komoski unable to hold her off. Coming on by on the inside as well, Isaac Nichols. And Zach Komoski is lost in the last 3 laps of the race, and he has slipped to 4th. Dylan Membrilla making his way on by. We mentioned how amazing it would be if Membrilla, last in points coming into this race, could win. He is making it work on the outside of Isaac Nichols. And Tanya Breyer liking the 2 cars behind, battling for position, and Membrilla is not giving up. And for Isaac Nichols, he's like, man, please let me go. I gotta go catch the 38 car. 2 laps left in this race. And look at Membrilla fighting the 90 car. They hit! And Membrilla door slammed the 90 a bit. That's going to let him take second place. And now he's going to have a shot to go catch Tanya Breyer in the closing stages of this race. A lap and a half left to go. And the American Ethanol Chevrolet will have to fend off the Dodge Charger just behind. The Pete Store Dodge has been looking for victory lane, and Vincent Motorsports would love to see the checkered flag. It would be their first in their entire career. But don't think Rage Attack Racing won't be happy about this win either. They're looking for their second career victory, Patrick Curtis being their only career win back at Milwaukee last year. But for Tanya Breyer, she's looking for her first career win, and if she can hold on for one more lap, she's got it. Down through Canada corner, the 38 car, look at them, nose to tail, going through the 90-degree right-hander, and now out onto the back stretch. Breyer got a great run, and Membrilla is not able to capitalize. He'll have a few more opportunities, though, in the last portion of the track. Isaac Nichols looks to be out of it. I see Eric Willis has clawed his way up to a 4th place run also back there. But as for Tanya Breyer, flawless through the S's. Membrilla goes a little wide, pushing as hard as he can. He's not going to get there. Tanya Breyer, the last corner is complete, and she will see the checkered flag for her first career win and Rage Attack Racing's second ever victory in the Copperhead Amateur Series. Congratulations for Breyer, and she'll be the Menards 150 winner and the 4th winner of the season. And an exciting finish all the way up to the end there, and Membrilla is just shy of his victory. Isaac Nichols also looking for his first career win, but if today is any suggestion, that might be coming soon for those 2 drivers. Great racing though all the way to the end. Eric Willis is your highest non-full-timer, finishing in 4th, and Robert Harrison a very cheeky 5th place run there. How about Zach Komoski though, dominated all the way up through the pit stops. but whatever they did on those round of green flag pit stops, he was just unable to see the speed he had earlier in the race and dropped like a rock to 6th place. John Arndt and Nicholas Wade are going to be going home with not many points after this one, especially Arndt, who was looking to have a top 5 run today. And that will put Carter Friesen in the top spot, only 9 points ahead of Arndt after not getting the most out of today's race, but still it's a points lead nonetheless. Scott Roush also closes in on the top 2. And as for the 40 car, he'll rise out of the ashes and move himself onto the front page. Gatlin Downey also, after being in that race, will jump to the top of the part-timer point standings. Well, that wraps things up from Mosport, but it's not the end of the racing weekend here. The Pennsville Pro Series is coming up next for their 6th race of the season. But as for the Copperhead Amateur Series, we'll see you next time at the Pocono Oval.